Welcome to episode 1 of the ODO podcast. So, obvious title. Didn't we already have one of these? Yes, because this is not a live show. This is actually the first show we're doing in studio with the happy new equipment. On tonight's show, we've kind of got a week in review. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We've missed a show this week, so we're catching up for lost time. We're going over new equipment, the mysterious lost show that some of you may have heard about, things going on around the house, coming up events, and we're going to be talking ideas and what you want from the show. So, without further ado, I bring you episode 1 of the Odd Dad Out podcast. Thank you once again, and we are here at beautiful Surprise, Arizona, in my home, in my actual studio now, recording for the first time in, of all the times we've done the show. For those of us keeping track, this is technically the third episode we've recorded, but this is actually the first episode that is live, that is coming from the studio. Hence why we have the whole episode 1 again. Hence why there are 2 separate show pages. For those of you who listened to the disaster that was that very first pilot live episode, I'm sorry. But I did mention that this was kind of the way it was going to run, and I wanted to keep them separate. And tonight I wanted to kind of wrap things up with what we've missed this week, because again, this is all coming up on Saturday, whereas in the past, the last few episodes, I guess technically this was all last week, but I was aiming for my first show came up on Tuesday, second show came up on Thursday, and I was trying to keep with at least, have Tuesday a new live episode, or just Tuesday a new show, something like that. Try and get into a schedule and get a schedule down, because every little page that said, how do you get how are you successful in podcasting, said, have a schedule. Keep to that schedule no matter what you do. And that's the whole dad thing. It's hard to do that. But this all actually I had a show, and this is where I'm getting to. Being in the Tuesday night was supposed to be my first recorded in-studio show. I was going to be broadcasting live, but it was going to be from the studio. And I had gotten a new headset, a new microphone, got all my new equipment ready, and I sit down on Sunday, why am I saying Sunday? On Tuesday night, and I've got my music going, I've got everything going, it sounds great. I get through my end of the show, and I go and listen to playback, and after the intro music, I've got 30 minutes of completely dead air. Using the web console with the mixers and everything, for whatever reason, it was not detecting my microphone. And my dumbass wasn't paying attention to the little level bars through the whole thing. I was just kind of off in my own world talking. And as such, I actually missed that I had no audio going the entire time. So I recorded and broadcasted live 30 minutes of completely dead air. So, that being said, I then had to go back and do damage control, and go back to the Twitter page, go back to the Facebook page, and pull all the links and pull everything that automatically pops up every time I broadcast a show. And so I had to go and kind of do damage control and post up that, sorry guys, my new episode was stalled out, here's what happened. I spent all of Wednesday working tech and troubleshooting issues to finally get the microphone issue taken care of, get the headset, get everything back up and running. And I was ready to go Thursday afternoon, no work, no nothing. I was like, Thursday afternoon, okay, I'm a couple days behind, but I'm at least within a week, so let's go. Let's do episode 2, let's go live. And I get up to the studio, and my boys have destroyed my headset. And so as soon as I plug in, I just get again. They tweaked and did something that messed up my mic, and the next thing I know, I'm just, for all intents and purposes, losing my shit with the boys, because I had just purchased this headset just to do the show. I actually feel much more comfortable recording with the headset. And it is... And I went and had, everything ready after I finally worked and got everything all set. And now suddenly my only means to record outside of my phone is damaged. And of course, boys are lying and they're blaming each other, and it's kind of chaotic. But this again puts me even further behind, and I just steaming the rest of the day, and it just kind of ate me up inside for the last couple days. But more tweaking and more time later. Friday rolls around, Saturday rolls around, I finally get things dialed in. I finally get my previous mic, my old shitty mic that I tried to work with before. I've got that set up and actually working, so I will be able to have a second audio source, I guess. I'd have that for when I have people in studio to talk to, which will be much better. So they don't have to sit there on my headset. They can talk into the mic too. I may have a ghetto-rigged mic stand, but I at least have my microphone ready to go for them whenever they come in. But that was all, kind of... That's the quick Cliff Notes version of my week with the show, and why it is that not only are we not going live tonight, but we are, we're pre-recorded, and that I'm in the studio, and it's taken all the way to Saturday to get this recorded. But, again, and you could be downloading this or listening to this at a different time, but in my head it helps me keep tabs on what I'm doing. And that's kind of been just kind of a big pain in the ass this week, is that once I hit record last week and did that first show, I got that bug. I wanted to keep going. I wanted to keep recording. I wanted to do a show every night just for the hell of it, just because I feel comfortable here with a mic just talking. And I hate that. To a degree, I kind of hate it, because it feels like, it's like, oh, you just love the sound of your own voice. And it's like, no, not really. And the funny thing is, there's that whole, you don't know what you really sound like, because your sound echoes in your head and all that. And, you're hearing your voice from inside your head as well as outside, so it sounds completely different to you when you hear it than it is, say, when you've got headphones on and you're listening to a recording of yourself. But I don't necessarily enjoy the sound of my voice. When I listen to playback from the show, I'm like, oh my god, that's what I sound like. But, to all of you out there that know me and have been listening so far, yeah, that's what I sound like, and you guys are used to it. I'm not used to it. It sounds fucking weird to me. I was like, oh shit, my voice nearly sounds that bad. But I digress. That is, that's just the way I sound to the world, and that's the way it's going to be, and I guess that's the way it's going to be for the rest of forever, unless I get a new voice. Well, I guess technically you guys are getting the radio voice. You aren't getting the I'm just a snot, talking around whatever. You guys get that official. I'm on the radio. I've got my microphone in front of me and my headset on, and we're going to do a show. That's what you guys get. I unfortunately, again, come back to, I'm from a radio family, and it just goes on. As soon as the mic comes on, as soon as I put this headset on, even talking to the boys in the room with my headset on, I still have my radio voice tuned on, and I don't really know how to turn that off. I don't know how to stop and click back to just being dad without taking the headset off, and which is kind of funny, but my dad was the same way, so that's just kind of the way it is. I probably should have brought some water in here. I'm getting all dry mouth in here. I mean, I suppose I could stop recording and go back and go get a drink or something, but what's the point of that? It's like I could go downstairs, but then I'd have to stop and recollect my thoughts, and it's a lot easier for me to just keep going. But Okay, let's see. This week, and again, because I'm pre-recording this, I'm actually sitting in the studio. I have notes in front of me. I can read and actually put a collected show together and not be at risk of driving off the road. And I'll probably start doing the live shows from here too, just because, hey, I don't have, all that car background noise going on. But I'm sure you guys are getting the horrendous echo that exists in the room that I record in, because I have hardwood floors in my house. And, it's a little unpadded office with hardwood floors and a nice happy fan and all these things in the room. And so it echoes quite a bit. And you can probably hear every time I click something or... excuse me. It's been a long day with trying to get everything up and running for the day. If I'm not working on the weekend, it means chores, like every other dad out there. But let's get back to Tuesday. What did you guys miss on Tuesday? And this is what drove me batty, is that I felt my Tuesday show that all of you got to miss, and I feel so terrible that you guys missed all of this. But my Tuesday show was probably the best thing I've done so far. I felt so great. I came up and I was just rocking it. I was on a roll. I felt awesome. And I looked up and I was like, damn, I'm out of time. It's like I could just keep going on tonight. This is so great. We're having such a great time. And then the just heartbreak of everything. But let's see. I am, because I'm technically a millennial, I unfortunately do have my phone sitting here in front of me, more as a case of this is the only way my wife has to communicate with me while I'm up here doing this. So, when I am up here doing this, she is downstairs watching things on Netflix or, on Pinterest or doing her thing to basically kill time until I come back downstairs. And I've been up here for a little while tinkering and making sure doing audio test after audio test and making sure my headset works and making sure my hand mic works. And so she's been down there. From what I'm seeing, she's on Facebook and Pinterest, and she keeps tagging me and stuff and things like that. But I gotta have some way to talk to her downstairs without her yelling through the door, without the boys beating the door down, which has taken the last 2 hours to get them to be quiet and go to bed. It's been kind of a nightmare tonight. I finally just had to lock the door, tell them to go to bed, and if I see them again, then, I'm belting them in or something. But back to Tuesday. Tuesday night, there's that we again. Not we, just me. Tonight is just me. Wasn't gonna be just me, but it's just me. I went over things that happened at home, which I guess we're gonna wrap up now. But Tuesday night I had talked about how we finally got the official date for the new baby, because as anybody who's listening knows, I've got baby number 4, son number 4, Samuel David Higgins is officially scheduled to be born on August 13th, and that would be a week from Thursday. And this created some headaches here and there. All of it's gotten worked out, fortunately. As of Tuesday's show, we were in total meltdown mode because on Thursday the 13th, my middle sister, who has so far been introduced as Fatty, she was actually getting married on Thursday, and she had been the one set to watch the other 3 boys so I could go and be present for the birth of number 4. And so we were suddenly having a major meltdown of, wait, she can't watch the boys. Wait, if she can't watch the boys and the doctor won't reschedule and give us any other day of the week or any other time to do this, then my wife is freaking out and has to go by herself. Not only does she have to go give birth by herself, she has to go have a C-section by herself. And we love the hospital we go to, it's great. This will be the third of our children that's born there, and we're very happy with it. It's a great place. But there's no happy way to have surgery, and there's no non-stress version of a C-section. My wife is not good with needles, and so when they shove that 2-foot long, spear of a needle into her spine for the spinal block for the surgery, she basically goes into full meltdown, panic attack mode. And last time they actually almost had to sedate her because she got so bad, just the stress from the actual meds. So her trying to do that alone would just be no bueno. That's just not going to be good for anybody. In the meantime, since Tuesday's lost episode, we managed to get everything worked out. My sister actually changed her wedding plans. The original plan was they were getting married on Thursday morning, and we were going to have a big dinner and everything on Thursday night, which of course we weren't going to be present for because I'd be my wife would be in the hospital, I'd be at home with the boys, and excuse me. I've worked with this headset like 3 times. I still can't I still can't remember that it's there in front of my mouth, so I keep hitting the mic with my thumb. But my sister has worked out her plans, and so that has made it possible. They're going to change when they do the actual wedding and when they do the actual dinner, and this all works out so that my sisters are able to kind of tag team with me so I can be there for the birth of our son, and my sisters can be kind of watching the other boys intermittently through the morning and evening so that so I can be there with my wife, and then I can come back and take care of my son to school or pick him up and back and forth, and the whole runaround that exists because school starts Wednesday, and that's a whole other topic in and of itself. Just know that it will affect things coming forward, and this is future show topic. I've got it written out already, actually. But the crazy meltdown that was the oh shit, what's gonna happen if we have to have the baby and nobody can watch the boys? That headache has been relieved. On a similar note, on my wife's last checkup this week, we come to find that there's a chance that they may need to do an emergency delivery this week. She goes back to test in 2 days, and if the numbers and the tests don't come back the way they want, then it is very possible that they're going to deliver immediately, which totally screws up our plans, at the very least, because I had requested the days off from work based around that whole scheduling of, okay, we're going to be having the baby on Thursday the 13th, we got to be there at 5 in the morning, and I'll take those next 4 days off so that we get, and it covers me having to be home with the boys for that whole weekend. No problem. Now, it could be that we have the baby as early as Monday evening or Tuesday morning, depending on when test results come back and things like that, which screws all these plans to hell. It not only means that we suddenly don't have the daycare setup that we had, it also means that I'm supposed to be at work, and the time off all gets wonky. But it'll work out. I'm sure it'll work out. I don't think it's going to go too bad. I really don't. But I would rather, keep my fingers crossed that everything goes okay. But that is where we are on the baby front. And why do you care? Because it's a dad thing, and it's something I mentioned in the first show. It's like, hey, kid minus 4 weeks. And now we're coming up on 2 weeks, and oh shit, this is what's, where we are. And now it could very possibly just be kid minus 3 days. Who knows? On a similar note, we got my oldest boy, Charlie, is going to be turning 6 in 2 weeks. He goes back and starts first grade on Wednesday, this coming up Wednesday. He will be going back into first grade. I just said that, didn't I? Sorry, my screensaver just decided it wanted to twinkle on me, and for security of children's sake, we have the automatic password set up here. So let's wake up the computer so we can get back to business. All right. Let's see. So that's what we have going around the house. We've got, wrap that up. We got babies coming. Don't know when at this point. And then we've got Charlie starting school and boys breaking my shit and wanting to wring their necks, but I'm one of those people where I get really, really angry and I really feel like I want to hurt somebody. I just walk the hell away. I walk away because I know that if I start messing with that, or if I try and act on that anger, I am going to do something I regret, and the last thing I want to do is be mad at my boys and be that mad at my boys and spank them or be compelled to do something, so I just walk away. As much as I want to spank them for damaging my headset or just pop and just scream my head off, I get to that point where I'm so mad I just walk away. And so, he basically got off with being grounded for the day because I was so angry I couldn't do anything else. But where were we? Yeah, this is my around the house stuff. Coming up, again, we've got new baby coming up. We've got more shows coming up. I've actually been taking notes. I've got, what am I going to do? What do we got coming up? We've got the new school or back to school episode coming up. Again, I'll be making this probably like a 2-part thing. Probably do a back to school pre-show episode coming up Tuesday. Probably go live with that one. And I'm going to have Charlie here with me on Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll probably do kind of back-to-back shows, or I may just kind of split a show and piece them together. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, and see what we're going to do with the back-to-school episode. Talk to Charlie before he goes back to school and he's excited. And, hey, son, how was your first day? We'll tackle all that. And I think because of the nature of it's a back-to-school show, I'm going to do my damnedest not to swear, because I know that big red explicit tag is something that's probably keeping my parents from listening. And I find it, one of the few people that I haven't heard any feedback from is actually my dad. And you would think that the guy who was in radio for 30 years would want to hear what his son's show sounds like, especially considering that his other sons are listening to it. So you never know. But I think that whole explicit content thing might just be the button that is keeping my dad from listening. I know my mom. My mom isn't a big fan of profanity, so she probably sees that big red explicit tag and knows her children. And it's like, I'm not listening. I don't need to be listening to Adam swearing all night. Like, come on, Mom. It's only 30 minutes. You can put up with it. I probably swear more in my 30-minute show than you hear me ever in my life. But nonetheless, but yeah, we've got the back-to-school special coming up, which is really cheesy, and it's kind of a dad thing. It's the, hey, sometimes we're just going to be a dad show, but we can talk about anything. And that brings me to my other idea. I am bound by this 30-minute time frame. This 30-minute time frame is imposed by the host site, strictly because I'm running on a free account, and so this is the time limitation that you have when you're not paying. They're just, they put their name on everything, and that's how they get their money. That being said, I would like to upgrade my show here a little bit and do some upgrades, maybe get some better equipment, upgrade some of the music quality, things like that. Give us more time, be able to have a longer show, maybe do more episodes in a week, or something, so where I can be doing a better show for you and have the best experience for you guys out there that are listening, because I am actually pleasantly surprised at the positive feedback I'm getting. I'm blissfully amazed with the good vibes that are coming to me about this show, and I am enjoying talking to people about the show and listening to what people have to say, and just I'm a shameless self-promoter in the sake of the show. I will pimp this show to the end of the earth because it's not me. I cannot tell you about me for shit. I cannot sit there and self-promote, but I can pimp the shit out of anything I support. And it just so happens that this particular thing that I support, that I am standing behind, is my personal baby. This is something that I created. I'm usually great at pimping the company I work for, or the restaurants that I enjoy, or the knives I use, or the pots and pans I use, or this tool that I've come across, or something like that. But in this particular case, I am putting out there and talking about my show, something that I'm creating on my own. And so I am reaching out to you, the fans, all of 5 of you. I'm reaching out to you for ideas. This is that Dirty Jobs about what was the other show? Mythbusters. This is that Discovery Channel. Hey, we need ideas. Tell me what you want me to talk about, because this is the Seinfeld of podcasts. This is a show about nothing and everything all at the same time. I can talk about me. I can talk about you. I can talk about cars and boats and planes and politics and music and a whole bunch of other shit. But so far, it's all been about me and what the hell's going on with me, because I didn't have any ideas. Because I come up with ideas, and then it's like, well, fuck, throw that shit out. I don't need to talk about that. It's like, you don't want to listen to me talk about pets. We went over this last week. But I want to know what you want to talk about. I want your ideas so that I know what are my viewers, what are my listeners wanting to hear. What do you want from me? Because that's the great thing about my show. I can talk about anything. Tell me what you want me to talk about. I will look it up. If I don't know shit about it already and I can't already do a whole show on it, I'll look it up. I'll come up with some shit. And I will make a show for you. Which, spins into part B of this plan of ideas. Is that, and we want money. I'm not looking for sponsors. I'm looking for support. This is like my little PBS telethon. Just send me your money. Donate to the cause. Once I get it all detailed and hammered out, I am looking to offer up in straight pimping fashion for the as to be determined donation amount. You control the show with the donation amount that has to be worked out so far and accounts set up and things. My plan is to basically offer you, the listener, the option to sponsor an episode directly. You will be my sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Steve. Steve donated, for his donation, whatever. I figured all that shit out later. Steve wanted to hear a show about giraffes, and so we're going to do 30-minute show on giraffes. And if I have to do research on the subject just to talk about shit, so be it. If you want to do a show about Cecil the lion, or his brother Jethro, who I heard apparently was killed yesterday, if you want to do a show about that, hey, you paid your money. You paid me to talk about this for 30 minutes. Or, if we're able to get the upgrade, you paid me to talk about this for 45 minutes or an hour or whatever the hell it is that we've got worked out by that point. Because every penny that you are sending to me to support this show is going right into the show. I'm not profiting off of this. This shit doesn't cost me anything. Especially if you're sending me the money to operate my show. I don't need to spend money out of my pocket. So why should I go and pocket your money? You worked hard for that money. You donated it to my show strictly for the idea of being able to make a better show. So more details will come out on that later. Oh shit, look at that. We're actually out of time. This is probably the most fluid show we've gone through. a lot to cover this time, but it looks like we'll be back. I will probably be back up and live to go on Tuesday. I'm shooting for Tuesday to have a new show up for you on the Odd Dad Out Twitter. Twitter.com/OddDadOut. We're now up on Facebook.com/OddDadOut. Check the show page there. As always, you can find me on Spreaker. And until next time, this is Adam Higgins, your Odd Dad Out, saying thank you and good night.